there, reader friends. I'm Erica, and welcome back to my channel. And happy February! Of course, when we think of February, we think of Valentine's Day and all the love and hearts and flowers. But if you're in the United States, February is also Black History Month. So I thought that I would provide a list of some of the books that I've seen recently that I'm interested in that feature Black authors, the African American experience, voices of African Americans. I thought I would share those books. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book I'm really excited for Black History Month is this one. It's a middle grade book. It's called March Forward Girl, and it's by Melba Pattillo Beals, who is one of the Little Rock Nine. If you don't know, the Little Rock Nine were the 9 African American students who were the first students to integrate a high school in Little Rock. The name of the high school I am forgetting, but this is Melba's kind of memoir of that experience. More of her memoir, because she's talked about this before in other books that she's written. I am so excited for this because, hey, I don't know enough about, the Little Rock Nine. Also about, integration of schools. The only thing I really knew before this year was Ruby Bridges. And there are so many other stories about the process of schools being integrated, particularly in the South, that have been forgotten or haven't been taught in school curriculum, just not given the attention and time and voice that they deserve. So I'm so excited to read this book. The next book I have on my list is Betty Before X by Ilyasah Shabazz. This is the story of Ilyasah's mom, Betty, who married Malcolm X, but this is her story before she married him, as a child. I am just intrigued on that fact alone. I really loved Ilyasah's X, a novel, and also her picture book about Malcolm Little, and it's just really interesting to me how she's carrying on her parents' legacy through text and word, the written word. Another book I'm excited for that has been on my TBR forever, that is no surprise to anyone, is Dear Martin by Nic Stone. I haven't read it yet, and I am so excited. I think it's going to be phenomenal, also probably pretty enraging, but I cannot wait. Police brutality and the injustice of the criminal justice system is something that really has sparked an interest in me, enraged me. It's something that affects a lot of the youth I serve. I mean, really, it affects any youth in the community because, as MLK said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I cannot wait. Another new book that just came out that I had no idea was coming out that I'm so excited about is this one. It's called A Sky Full of Stars by Linda Williams Jackson. It's another middle grade text. Linda Williams Jackson wrote Midnight Without a Moon, which I didn't get a chance to read and I really wanted to. So when I saw this one come across my desk and I read the summary, I was really intrigued and really interested in reading it. It follows a young girl named Rose who lives in Mississippi and decides not to go with family or friends or somebody. She decides to stay in Mississippi when her family, I guess, goes north, and is in the middle of a lot of racial tension. But what intrigued me about the summary was that she has 2 friends who are taking different approaches to dealing with injustice. One friend is promoting violence and revolt and being essentially the path towards, terrorist type acts, I guess. He's really angry and wants to, an eye for an eye kind of mentality. And she has another friend who has embraced nonviolent civil disobedience and protest. And I'm really intrigued to see how Williams Jackson and Rose navigate those relationships, but also how Rose decides how she wants to react to injustice. I think that it's going to be a really good book. And the final book I have is a somewhat older text written by a person that I used to work with, actually. It is called Loving versus Virginia by Patricia Ruby Powell. Hi, Patricia! If you see this, I'm sorry it's taken me so long to read your book. I'm so excited, though. So there was a film that came out last year, I believe, called Loving, all about the Lovings, Richard and Mildred Loving, who were married in Virginia at a time when it was illegal to have interracial marriage. And, of course, this time was actually not that long ago. Through the course of events, ended up going to the Supreme Court, and they won the case. And because of them winning this case, couples can be married no matter what race they are. I am so excited to read this book, not only because the story itself is extremely interesting and extremely important, but because it's like poetry, guys. And I love poetry. And I am so excited because I love poetry. I didn't even realize, Patricia, that you were writing in poetry. You should have told me that. That would have made me much more interested in your story when you were explaining it to me way back when. I apologize for my ambivalence. You know, grad school, that was happening at the time. So that's it. Those are 5 books that I'm really excited to read for Black History Month this year. If you'd like more information, or if you have any suggestions for other books that maybe could be added to the list, make sure to leave them down below. And if you'd like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys! How many times is it going to take me to do this, guys? How many times is it going to take me before I can say this?